Okay, so SIYP podcast uncensored. We are recording. How are you, Hazel?
I'm alive. Glad to be alive.
Yeah, you haven't been with
How
us
are
for the
you?
last couple. I'm good. You haven't been with us for the last couple weeks, but I think
Mm.
we can hear a little bit about that in your share, how you've been and why you're saying and sharing with us all that you're alive. Well, first of all, we're happy you're alive. Um, because then we wouldn't be able to step into our power wholesomely. English is not my forte, and completedly, but yeah, no, I'm doing good. The weather is kind of crappy. Like I was sharing with you guys before, we only have two seasons in Greece. We have the summer and the winter. So we have like a week where it's 15, 20 degrees, and right now it is 29 degrees.
Mm.
So it's disgusting and it's humid, and then the mosquitoes come out, and every night we're just like literally playing the Macarena, killing mosquitoes um, every night. So I'm good, but yes, I'm alive, but not like I didn't go through what you went through. So would you like? David's not with us right now, but David should be hopping on soon. We think so. But Hazel, if you want, you could start the share of your last week,
Okay.
the last 2 weeks. Go ahead, it's yours.
Sure. I'll try to not be too long, but yeah. So the 2 weeks ago, we found out we had a pest issue. So bugs, bed bugs. We don't know how, and so we had to get that treated. And because of the treatment, we had to take our cat out of the house. So, all sorts of stuff came up for me, fear, um, uh, lots of fear, judgment. Um, and then, funnily enough, though, my husband said he was proud of me of how I was handling the bedbug situation. And I was like, oh, well, you know how most people freak out and you can tell they're freaking out? Like, they start yelling or whatever, some kind of
Yeah, your whole
behavior
persona, your
response.
body language, just is like,
Yeah.
mhm.
For me, I call it a freak in because it's all inside. Like I
Mm.
get really quiet, I like shut down. I don't want to engage with people, and I will just be like really quiet trying to manage my emotions and my thoughts. So,
Mhm.
and I said, it's not that I'm freaking out, I'm freaking in. And it's all inside. And he said, still, I'm proud of you the way you're handling it. And I'm like, well, thank you. But, this is all we can do right now. This is the facts right now. And we're dealing with it. We're taking the appropriate steps. And that way I see the best version of ourselves. Um, and accountability too, because we found out that we had bed bugs and then we made sure that we could get rid of them.
Mhm.
Let's see what else. So yeah, we were out of our house with our cat because of the treatment, and then when we came back, I was home for like a couple days, and then my stomach started feeling really, really bad, and I thought it was food. And then the feeling in my stomach reminded me of when I had kidney stones last year. So I said, oh boy, maybe it's kidney stones. And the pain was not going away. So then I asked my husband to take me to the hospital. And we were there for a really long time, just waiting to be seen. Finally, I got seen by the doctor after about 7 hours waiting.
Wow.
Yeah. And then, yeah, they did a CT scan. And that's when they found the kidney stones on my left side.
Mm.
So then I got admitted to the hospital and they had to schedule a procedure to break up the kidney stones.
Mm,
And again, all the things going on, fear, like there's attachment and judgment, of myself. I got put into a hospital room where the maximum people was like four.
mm.
And there was one lady who was wheeled in, an older lady with a hip fracture, and I couldn't stand her. She was complaining the entire time as soon as she got wheeled in, and big judgment on her. I had really big judgment on her because she did not say thank you to anybody at any
Mm.
time since she got into that room, the same room as me, and constantly complaining too. So,
I'm
but
giggling. I'm giggling because like I can relate, but then at the same time I'm just like, I kind of feel bad because they are going through a lot, but then at the same
oh
time if
yeah,
I'm in that space, I'm like, this is my
yeah.
space. Like, geez, yeah, I get it.
I know. I had a thought where I was like, yeah, if I had a hip fracture, I wouldn't be like that. But that's just my personality, like I already said, I would freak in. I wouldn't freak out on
Hmm.
people. So, yeah, I had big judgment on her and I really found her energy toxic. So I wanted
Mm.
to get out of there as soon as possible. But on the other hand, seeing her behavior made me really thankful and grateful to the people who were taking care of me at the hospital, the nurses, the doctors, and everybody else, So that also, that contrast um, made it possible for me to see those things. And when I saw that, I was able to forgive her
Mm.
because she must have been in excruciating pain, hip fracture. She's an
Hmm.
older lady, and sometimes when you're older, you heal slower, right? So she doesn't know how long she's gonna be like that, and totally dependent on other people. So
Yeah.
yeah, I did the forgiveness exercise, lying in my hospital bed, with her, and what else? And then I was also visioning, okay, what would my recovery look like when I got out of the hospital? And again, that was like accountability, being the best version of myself too. Um,
Yeah. And then also with visioning, that leads into intentionality, which then
yeah.
leads into accountability, right? So a vision
Hmm.
is great because like you create your reality and your non-existent future, but then how you make that non-existent future a potential possibility future is through intentionality and then holding yourself accountable. So if
Yeah.
if you had visioning and dreaming, which then had to your recovery, that means you were intentional and then
Yeah.
accountable to get like healed. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
So that was my past 2 weeks. I think almost everything from the program came up. Um,
I have a couple
yeah.
questions. Well, not really
Yeah.
questions. It's just like I want to pick your last 2 weeks. So you mentioned something which was like a lot of people freak out, but I love
Hmm.
this terminology distinction you shared about freak in. And
Hmm.
while you explain that, I was like, in my 33 years of existence, I've never came up with that. I never said freak in, but it makes so much sense because what
Hmm.
showed up for me was like when you shared that, I'm like, yeah, there have been times, and I think a lot of people listening would relate to this too. Like I remember it took me back to when I was young and like when I did something wrong and I was yelled at by my parents or my teachers or whatever, the first thing I would
Mm.
say is like, no, I'm not hungry. And even though my mom yelled at me, my mom would be like, Zayshan, come and eat. And I'll be like, no, I'm not hungry. And that's like me doing it internally. It was just like I'm
Mm.
dealing with so much inside because I don't want to tell my mom I'm pissed because I'm wrong, but like I'm dealing with so much internally. So like when your partner goes to you and says, you know, you're doing a great job, but you've got so much going on internally. It's not
Yeah.
like you're freaking out like it's visible, but there is a freaking happening uh,
Yeah.
internally. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just because of my personality, I think, and the way I grew up. I
Hmm.
grew up feeling like I had to always protect myself and that I couldn't show other people that if I was vulnerable.
Mm.
So I wouldn't show outward physical signs if I was stressed or whatever. I would, especially if I didn't feel safe, I would not show emotion, because I didn't feel safe to express it, right?
Hmm.
So that's my like tendency and personal tendency and habit to keep it inside. And also I'm trying to like deal with my own emotions and thoughts. So like I'm trying
Hmm.
to regulate myself. And I don't want to put, like, if I'm having thoughts that I think are negative or bad or feelings, I don't want to put that on other people. So, because I'm also very conscious of energy,
Hmm.
because I can feel other people's energy too. And most people call it like their vibe. You meet somebody and immediately you either like their vibe or you don't like their vibe or their
You get
energy.
this aura, this sensation, this vibe. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I'm pretty conscious of that, and I never want to put out bad vibes to
Mm.
anybody. So that's also another reason why I'm like so contained
Hmm.
when I'm in distress, like emotionally or whatever.
When you're going through something, and usually what's really powerful in your share is usually that comes with fear. Like
Hmm.
when there's fear and then there's judgment, we usually go into this state where like, okay, this is what's showing up. But usually if you're not aware of it, it takes over you versus when you're aware of it, you can take over it, right? So if
Yeah,
if you're not aware of what's going on, you might be overwhelmed, you might be dizzy, you might be like, like a headache, or your health goes down because you don't know what's going on and you start panicking and running around, you're restless or whatever. This is stuff that I am very prone to. But then at the same time, like when you were, this was the second thing I wanted to bring up. So uh, what I love about when you were going through all of that and your partner was like, "You're doing a great job, and I'm proud of you." I could still tell, or I could feel from your share that you dealt with whatever you had to deal with to still acknowledge your partner in his um, proudness of you. Because, usually what happens is when we're not there and someone's like,
hmm,
Station, you're doing a good job. Usually what we do is like, what do you mean? I'm not doing enough,
yeah,
right? We go into, it's
yeah.
not grateful, but you're just like,
Rejection
right. Or
of the
resisting. You're like, what do you,
compliment. Yeah.
yeah. So I feel like, and that's another thing that, you could be, and that's what you said, you were grateful for that, that
Hmm.
being proud of you. So that's like support and everything. So that's really great also.
Yeah. And I was really grateful to my partner because like he said, we'll get through this together, we'll survive this together. And I was like, oh, thanks. I was like, thank you.
But you
You know.
still made it complete for him as well. Because sometimes like when someone says thank you, I usually go like, for what? And immediately, like, and then my sister, like Farah, my elder sister was like, Sasha, just shut up and say you're welcome, and I was like, but I didn't do anything. And it's not really for you, it's for the other person,
Mm,
and you can have them be complete also. So that's really great too. And the last thing,
mhm,
the lady in the room with you, And about this, like a lot showed up for me too when you were sharing that because I'm just like, fuck's sake, I'm in a room, I'm admitted, and now there's someone else, and their energy and all of that, and like again, what I want to acknowledge you for is you were aware of what's showing up for you. And then you were like, with that awareness, could you fully go into forgiveness? More than anything for yourself, and like just to have peace with yourself, you could go into forgiving yourself, forgiving her, forgiving the environment, forgiving whatever. Because if we don't do the forgiveness, we are welcoming that quote unquote toxic energy, like that
Yeah.
quote unquote. And with the toxic energy, I wanted to go into my share, but yeah, I just wanted to highlight those three things, which was
Yeah.
really great because when it's happening, when someone enters our space and they come with like all of their energy, their vibes or whatever, there is
Uh-huh.
an impact.
Oh
There's like a
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I'm
So for
complete.
you, yeah, so for you to go into that and then just be like, okay, what's going on here? There's a judgment I'm creating and everything. You allowed the judgment to happen, and then you're still like, no, I'm gonna detach from that. So there was detachment also.
I also didn't want to sit there because I didn't know how long I was going to be in there. I didn't want to sit there in the hospital room and just be miserable with her presence all the time, right? So I'm like, what can I do? And I'm like, okay, I'm going to do forgiveness exercise.
Yeah, no, but that's really great. So and I will use what you're sharing because it I had that also this last week. So yes, you are complete.
Yes.
You are complete. Okay. So my week, I mean, I did share the last 2 weeks just to give you a little elevator pitch. The last 2 weeks, I had a lot of breakthroughs with the relationship with my younger sister, the relationship with my mom, with work, and this new business we're doing. So we started this new business, food tours in Athens, and it's going really well. Things are going great. And just for the people who listened to the audio, I mean to the podcast, one of the major things that had me survive the last 2 weeks was just being present to what people's energy ironically showed up like between my sister, my younger sister, my mom, things that I anticipated they're going to stress me out, I detached. So detaching from that could not have me be stressed out anymore because it doesn't exist. I'm not holding on to it. I'm not attached to it. So that had me survive the last 2 weeks, and it was great. It was a breakthrough, all of that. And then this week, what ended up happening was this week, work wise, yes, work is work. Like I'm still dealing with people and humans and their their being, like I wouldn't say like their energy, but just who they are. So dealing with different people and different interactions, yes, I realize that I do get impacted by who they are or what they say or what they do or what they expect. And I'm just really present to there is no way I can control what they say, do, or leave behind. But what I can do is choose what I decide to take and keep and choose what I choose to let go, right? So there was a lot of forgiveness, but now that you mentioned the forgiveness exercise, I didn't really do the forgiveness exercise like our material, but there was more like I release this energy, it doesn't serve me, and I do this to be complete. So there was forgiveness there, but not actually the exercise, but more like this is out of my control. This is not something I can do. I can take the feedback and better myself because we're always bettering ourselves. So that was like specifically in work. There were some times I really lost my shit. It's uncensored. But then I was just really proud of being the better version of myself by not holding on to it.
Mm-hmm.
So that was like work wise. With family, I had a conversation with my mom, and that was like really cute. Um, because with the last 2 weeks where I always talk to my mom, or I used to always talk to my mom, now that I detach from that, because it used to give me stress. I'm like, oh, my mom is not focusing on her house, and my younger sister's not focusing on her life. And now that I gave that up, I don't speak to them, but it doesn't mean I don't love them. It's just I don't speak to them, and that's okay. So when I had this conversation with my mom, it was really cute because we spoke about a lot of things, and there was no uh judgment or point of view from her or from me that was like, oh well, Zayshan, you haven't called me, and why? It was none of that. So even what I anticipated that it might go this way was all BS. It wasn't real, and it was just beautiful. We had this lovely conversation. So that conversation with my family killed the assumption that, oh, if I don't talk to my mom or if I don't talk to my younger sister, they're going to hate me and I need to fix things. And that was all done. That whole judgment was gone. So that was good. Uh, and the last thing was with our new business, we have we have again energies and people that we're dealing with because we take people on a food tour. And obviously you
Mm-hmm.
cannot satisfy everyone and you can't please everyone. And we had a
Mm-hmm.
beautiful example of how someone booked to be with us, but then what ended up happening was they were not happy with the fact that they were other people that didn't speak English, because we offered
Oh.
the tour in Italian. My fiance is Hungarian, and the customers that booked were Hungarian. So, we had
Mm-hmm.
this couple that booked, and then when my fiance was like, "Oh, it's going to be multicultural. There's going to be you guys that are English," and the Hungarian couple. This person was like, "Oh no, that's not okay. This is completely wrong. We want a refund. We want to cancel."
Oh, geez.
And it was interesting because there were so many different points of views during this exchange.
Mm-hmm.
There were people that found, these couple, the ones that booked, like extremely racist. There were people that found them derogatory. There were people that found them discriminatory. So, and then,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, but they've paid us. How do we send the money back? So there were like so many. And then, there was someone else that's like, yeah, but now they're going to leave a negative review. So there was so much. There was so much that just blew up. And,
Yeah.
everyone was generating in fear. Everyone was generating in their emotion. Everyone was like bitching at each other. Um, and then, long and behold, everything worked itself out. We just trusted in the system. Everyone had to like offload their shit. And then, with that out, we could then try and restore and try and collaborate and try and address the fear and then give it up and everything. And this is what I shared on last week's call. Like, I love that with Rebecca and I having done the work, like the SIYP work, we are more aware of what's going on. And then while we have those conversations, it shows up in the rest of the team. You can see the rest of the team is also like stepping into their power, where they're like, okay, we're just bitching and everything. And then I need space, like there's vulnerability, there's accountability. So it's really powerful, like how everything around us is stepping up. And one thing that I wanted to come to just wrap up my whole week was what you said, Hazel, um, about the energy, right? Like the lady that stepped in, you could feel like her energy was like toxic, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what I also realized is while we were talking yesterday, the group and myself, you know, the conversation was like, why do people do this? Like, why are people so evil? Like, why are they, there was a part of us that was like egoistic and fun where we go and check like this person's profile and they're a host and like, we go and check that other people left a not so happy review. And it was like, oh, so this is the kind of person they are. And then I, for a moment, was just like, why are we doing this? Like,
Yeah.
and it's not necessarily like that lady in your room has a toxic energy, or it's not like these people are naturalistically bad. It's just we see it that way. And we are
Hmm.
kind of like giving power to this identity for who they are without actually knowing who they are, you
Yeah.
know? So, like, if we also just take a look at, like, this is our internal judgment. And by the way, that lady in your room could have actually honestly had toxic energy. She really could. But what we
Hmm.
could do for our well being, our peace of mind, our happiness, or our stress could just be like, what you did, the forgiveness exercise. Allow your body to go through whatever it's going through. We all bitched about this person. We all were like, drinking about it and having a good time. We all went into Sherlock Holmes to like find things to make ourselves feel good. And then we were just like, you know what? Maybe this person is just this person. Like what you said, the what so. And it doesn't really serve us going into this space to start doing this because we're not really stepping into our power for
Yeah.
ourselves.
And
You
also,
know,
we're not probably not going to see them again, you know? So, and I shouldn't have said her energy was toxic, but to me, it was not, it was not a match. Like our
Mm.
energies were not matching and it was clashing.
Yeah, 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 and again, like that. I mean, we are entitled to our points of views, but it just doesn't mean that our points of views are reality. And
Yeah,
I
or
think
the
I
whole picture of the person.
absolutely, yeah, and I think the more we do that, some people could see it like, well, why do you give them the benefit of the doubt? Maybe they are just evil people. I get it.
Hmm.
True. But then at the same time, for me, why do I need to go into that not positive space to even
Hmm.
create, where I could just be like, probably they're having a rough time. I'm not defending them. Whatever they did was not right. We have people to cover us and back us up. But then
Hmm.
if I can do a thing extra and just free myself from that not positive vibe for myself,
Hmm.
that's really what I got this week. It was like, yes, there are people that do things that I consider evil. There we go. That's me stepping into my power. It's not that they're evil, but it occurs to me as evil. For
Hmm.
me, they're only evil if I create them as evil. But if I don't, I'm not under
Yeah.
the impact of that.
Yeah. Oh, I just had a thought.
Go for it.
Maybe, I don't know if you offer this already with your tours, but maybe you could offer private tours at
We
a
do.
higher price.
We
Oh,
do. We
okay,
do.
good.
Yeah. So like
So
that
maybe
was
those people should have done a private tour.
and that's exactly what showed up. We're like the audacity of these people. They could have just did a private tour. But there was
Yeah.
in that moment, there was so much. There was so much going on. There was like cost, there was reviews, there was reputation, there was how do we make
Hmm.
these people happy? How do we look good? Because we're sitting at
Hmm.
like 12 5-star reviews, like we're amazing. So there was so
Right.
much, and there was panic, there was fear, there was this, there was that, there was all that. And then we just went into, okay, we got this. We're safe. We're protected. There was so much clash between the team. A lot of
Hmm.
swear words were thrown around. Uh, but it's like really powerful to just detach from that and just be like, you can swear at me, but that doesn't mean that you hate me, or that doesn't mean I should hate you.
Hmm.
It's just words. They don't mean anything.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was
And
my week. Yeah. Sorry.
yeah, I was just gonna say, the longer you're in business, you will have at least one negative review. So,
Absolutely, yeah. And it was really interesting because like with Airbnb, when you um when you when you get like a negative review and everything, obviously you can like dispute it, you can contest it and everything. And if like there's a specific window till when you can cancel and get your full refund. It's a policy and everything. So like I
mhm,
spoke with the support, and I was like, we don't mind giving the money back so that we don't have to deal with this kind of energy or whatever. And the person literally goes like, well, don't worry, just tell them if they want their money to contact us. We wouldn't give them back their money anyways. And I'm like, I like you. I like
that's
you.
funny.
So, but like that's the thing. Like if you're not in the wrong, people may say whatever they want to say. And it doesn't help them, me, or like the company if I go in to say more things that are not positive. Like
Mm-hmm.
it, it doesn't make the situation better. But at least for me, I'm free.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. I am complete. I think this
Awesome.
was a good podcast. I think it was a good
Oh
share.
yeah, it was very juicy.
Yes. So are you good to be on the call next week?
Yes.
Okay. Then we see you same time next week. Bye, Hazel.
Yes. Bye, everyone.